Hello guys, it is Gate of Theories here, and a lot has happened in Riverdale since the last time we discussed it on this channel. We used to talk about it all the time, and then the show has kind of just gotten so mind-bogglingly insane that I didn't even really know where to start. Like, how did this show start with two kids on a river to suddenly parallel universes, time travel, and even superpowers? Like, Riverdale now has a guardian angel of all things who is dating Jughead. It just doesn't make any sense. But even with all of that, Riverdale is now finally coming to a close. We have season 7 and that is it. So somehow the creators have got to manage to wrap up everything in a satisfying conclusion. Whilst we have the fact that Riverdale is currently trapped in a time bubble stuck in the 1950s because it has actually been destroyed by a deadly comet that they thought they'd destroyed after being attacked from an evil dictator magician from a parallel universe. Yeah, this show is just beyond mad. So how on earth will Riverdale end? And well, I think throughout every season there has been so many hints to this finale that it might just be the most insane thing ever. So let's get into it. But before we go any further, please make sure that you've clicked the red subscribe button down below and have your notifications turned on so that you get notified every time we make any brand new videos. Let's firstly just get our heads around the fact that Riverdale hasn't gone back in time. The rest of the world outside of the town is still apparently in present day. What has actually happened is when the comet hit, Riverdale's guardian angel managed to save the town by reverting its people back to the 1950s, including all of the technology and infrastructure, as well as everyone losing their memory, but they aren't actually back in the 1950s. They're still in the present day, it's just the present day has been coated like the 1950s. That's why Jughead is able to get the time capsule from underground, since they're still technically in the present. It very much gives me kind of WandaVision vibes, especially since all of the episodes are kind of based off a famous TV show or film. It's a very strange concept to get your head around, but that is where we currently are. But then, the question is, are we really going to stay in the 1950s for the whole season? I don't think so, because what is the point of having all of these massive character story arcs across 6 seasons for the final season for them to just all be reset and having ending story arc that is only 1 season long? Instead, I think it's likely that the first half of the season is set in the 1950s and the second half of the season is set somewhere else. And by set, I mean in the present, but dressed up as a different timeline. And we know Riverdale is definitely getting 2 parts in this season, as we've had a confirmation of a Halloween episode, and Halloween is more than 22 weeks away. So they'll likely be taking a break for the summer, then return in the autumn for the rest of the year, likely around episode 10, 11, 12. But after they've left 1950, where do they go? Well, they could either just go straight back to the present and deal with Bailey's comments straight away. However, I really don't think that is what they're going to do. Instead, I reckon they're going to be getting closer to Bailey's comet as the show progresses. And by that, I mean travelling through the different decades till we get back to the present day. Again, very similar to WandaVision. And we know Riverdale loves to do this. All of Riverdale was set in different time periods, and we've had a lot of episodes that show many different eras of time in the town. But then comes the big question of how do they actually end this show? Is there even an ending that could satisfy what the show has become? They can't just all leave Riverdale because they've already done that. If they wanted to do that ending, they should have ended it at the end of season 4. They can't just defeat Bailey's comet and return back to normal because that isn't really an ending. The characters will go in the town of Riverdale, still having a lot of troubles, still having very strange superpowers. It just doesn't make sense. An ending kind of needs to see the characters at peace. And there's a lot of ways that could be done with this, and many are quite twisted. They could all just die, which I wouldn't put it past this show, but then again, is that really a good ending, or is it kind of a cop-out? And it kind of ruins all of the character development, as we know they just go to the sweet hereafter. They could actually destroy Riverdale, as in actually blow it up, which might seem like a bit of a rehash of season 5, but maybe the characters realised the only way they could have peace is by actually destroying the town. But then again, why would you spend all of season 5 and 6 trying to save it, only for season 7 to just say, well, we'll just destroy it anyway? You see, they've kind of put themselves in a bit of a problem, as no ending really justifies justifies ending the show in that sort of way. But then it got me thinking, there is one thing which is quite insane, but it has been done in Riverdale before, and maybe it was hinting at us that it was going to happen again to actually end the show fully. Or should I say it was done in Riverdale before? Because Riverdale is a very strange thing, and there was no way it was only going to impact just Season 6. Oh no, it will definitely be impacting Season 7, and definitely the finale. Because I reckon maybe Riverdale will end like how Riverdale did. Season 7 very much feels like a complete 180 from Season 6 in terms of tone. After all the craziness that we've had of Season 6 and Season 5, suddenly we're back to just high school drama with some weird murder mystery. Like, I've seen so many people say, and I very much agree with this, that it is just like a rehash of Season 1 all over again, but this time set in the 1950s and much, much weirder and a lot more sexualized for some reason. And we've also got elements from every season here as well. Like, we've had a load of the previous villains back, Clifford Blossom, Hal Cooper, Mr. Dupont, but also aspects from many different seasons. People coming in shouting that they've seen a murder during a school disco, haunted supernatural stories, the Sisters of Quiet Mercy, going through different comic books, just loads of stuff that we've seen before. And it makes me think that this season will explore aspects from every season. We have the 1950s as Season 1, maybe the 1960s as Season 2, 1970s Season 3, and so on, till eventually we get back to the present day. But how will they end this show through this? Well, I think with Riverdale trying to get back to the present and doing so by travelling through time, I reckon what they'll actually do is travel so far forward in time to the point where Riverdale all began, by the river's edge, seeing Jason Blossom and Sharon Blossom going out on a boat together. We saw it in Riverdale that the entire timeline was just one giant time loop. It makes me wonder whether we could see a similar thing in the main timeline, whereby they travel so far only to realise that they actually end up travelling to the point where Riverdale started in episode 1, and they just get their memories wiped again and start the timeline all over again, and Jughead writes his last line and it ends up being the first line in the Riverdale episode 1, and the loop begins again and again and again, starting with Jason and Cheryl and ending with Bailey's comet. And that the entire show has just been one loop trapped forever, all because Riverdale's guardian angel couldn't actually stop Bailey's comet, so she just ends up putting the entire show in a massive loop. It's insane and crazy, but to be honest, with everything Riverdale is, I don't see why not. Plus, since we have characters like Julian Blossom in the 1950s, it really does make me question that that's what it's all leading up to. Because there isn't really a way to end Riverdale, but it can't carry on. So maybe it just keeps on going forever, just in one giant time loop where Riverdale and Riverdale are intertwined in one massive multiversal time loop all together. It sounds insane, but to be honest, for Riverdale, it sounds quite normal. What do you guys think about this? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. But anyway, guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure that you smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Guys, tell me down below, what are you thinking of Riverdale Season 7 so far? And how do you reckon this show will finally wrap itself up? Because I've been trying to think and there are just so many strange and crazy options that I just had to come up with a crazy theory for it. Let me know all your thoughts down there, and as always, we've been here on Gate of Theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.